Most people think the smartest thing you can do when buying a brand new car is show up with cash. No bank involved, no interest, no monthly payments hanging over your head. Clean, simple, done. That belief is costing you more than the car is worth. I want you to meet Ethan. He's 34, works in logistics management. Not flashy with money, never has been. While his friends were financing gadgets and eating out 5 nights a week, Ethan was running a tight budget and stacking cash. Took him 3 years, but one morning he woke up with $45,000 sitting in a savings account and a decision to make. He'd been eyeing a pearl white SUV, $43,500 out the door. He walked into the dealership, told them he was paying cash, negotiated for about an hour, got them to knock off $800 from the sticker, and signed. No loan, no monthly obligation, just keys and a handshake. His father said it was the most responsible thing he'd ever seen a young man do. His father was wrong. Not about Ethan's character, not about the value of discipline, but about the decision itself. Because Ethan didn't just buy a car that morning, he made a $43,500 capital allocation error and dressed it up in the language of financial responsibility. By the time this video's done, you're going to see exactly what that error costs over 5 years, who profits from it, and the precise counter strategy that lets you drive the exact same car while keeping your money working in the background. And here's what I want you to hold on to right now, before we go any further. The most dangerous financial traps are never labeled as traps. They're labeled as wisdom. Now, if you like uncovering the hidden side of money like this, subscribe now because this story is just getting started. Let's start with the first number nobody puts in the brochure. The moment Ethan drove that SUV off the lot, the vehicle began losing value at a rate that no savings account, no CD, no bond can offset. In year 1 alone, a brand new car sheds between 15 and 25% of its purchase price. That's not a rough estimate. That's what the data from Carfax, Edmunds, and IC Cars consistently shows across vehicle categories. On a $43,500 vehicle, that's a $6,500 to $10,875 loss in the first 12 months. Not from an accident, not from neglect, just from the passage of time and the simple fact that the car is no longer new. But here's the part that actually matters. Depreciation is not linear. It doesn't spread itself evenly across the years like butter on toast. It front loads. It hits hardest at the beginning and tapers off later. By the end of year 3, the average brand new vehicle has surrendered between 40 and 50% of its original purchase price. Ethan's $43,500 SUV, sitting at somewhere between $21,750 and $26,100, and he hasn't missed a single oil change. He bought a depreciating asset at full price, at the worst possible moment to own it, with cash that could have been doing something else entirely. This is the depreciation trap, and it would be uncomfortable enough on its own, but there's a second trap sitting right underneath it, quieter, more expensive, and almost completely invisible. It's called opportunity cost, and it doesn't show up anywhere in the transaction. When Ethan handed over $43,500 in cash, he didn't just buy a car. He terminated the earning potential of that capital for as long as it takes to rebuild it. That money is now steel, rubber, and leather depreciating in a parking lot. It is not compounding. It is not generating returns. It is not liquid. It cannot be redeployed if a better opportunity appears tomorrow. It's gone, and the only thing it's producing is transportation. Now, let me show you what Kira did with the same situation. Kira wanted the exact same car, same model, same trim, same year. Her finances were comparable to Ethan's. She had savings, a solid credit profile, and the means to pay cash if she chose. But Kira had spent time understanding how capital actually behaves. So instead of walking into the dealership with her full stack, she walked in with a strategy. She put $8,000 down, financed the remaining $35,500 at 4.9% over 60 months, a payment of roughly $668 per month. That $37,000 she didn't hand to the dealership, it didn't sit idle. She split it deliberately. $22,000 went into a broad market index fund, diversified, low cost, long time horizon. The remaining $15,000 went into a high yield money market account paying 4.6% annually, liquid enough to cover her car payments for over 22 months without touching any other income. That's not a risk, that's a cushion. She built her safety net before she deployed her capital. Now, let's close the loop on the numbers, because this is where it gets undeniable. Over 60 months at a conservative 8% annual return, not the historical average, the conservative figure. Kira's $22,000 grows to approximately $32,300. That's a gain of just over $10,000 on capital she would have handed to a dealership and never seen again. Her $15,000 liquidity buffer, earning 4.6% annually, generates roughly $3,200 over the same period. Total return on deployed capital, approximately $13,200. Now, subtract the cost of the loan. At 4.9% on $35,500 over 60 months, Kira paid about $4,580 in total interest. Net result? Kira's ahead by approximately $8,600 compared to Ethan, and she drove the identical car from the identical dealership purchased in the identical month. Pause on that for a second. Same car, same road. Kira is $8,600 wealthier 5 years later, not because she earned more money, not because she got lucky, but because she understood one principle that most people never learn. In a world where capital can compound, spending it is always a cost, even when it feels like a saving. If this is already reframing how you think about money, I want you to hit subscribe right now and leave a comment below. Tell me, are you an Ethan? Have you ever made a big cash purchase that felt responsible in the moment but left you asset rich and cash poor? Drop it in the comments. This channel is built for people who are done getting financially outmaneuvered by systems they were never taught to read. Subscribe and let's keep going, because I haven't shown you the deepest layer of this yet. Here's what I want to talk about now. And this is the part most financial content completely skips over. The reason Ethan paid cash wasn't purely rational. It was emotional. And that's not a criticism. It's an observation about how money psychology actually works for most people. Paying cash for something big feels like winning. It feels like control. It feels like the opposite of being in debt. And most of us were raised to treat debt as a moral failing, not a financial tool. That conditioning runs deep. When Ethan handed over $43,500, he felt a version of pride that a monthly payment statement simply cannot produce. And that feeling, that visceral sense of financial virtue, is precisely what switched off his analytical brain at the moment he needed it most. The financial system does not punish emotion. It profits from it. Think about what brand new actually signals in the marketplace. It's not just a car. It's a statement. It says, I made it far enough to afford the freshest version of this thing. And that statement has a price premium attached to it that has nothing to do with the engineering under the hood. A 2-year-old version of the exact same SUV Ethan bought. Same engine, same safety features, same interior, often still under manufacturer warranty, is selling for 20 to 30% less. Not because it performs differently, because it doesn't carry the new car smell and the psychological bragging rights. Ethan paid a premium for a feeling, and then he paid again through depreciation when that feeling expired after the first month. Financial strategists call the point where a vehicle's depreciation curve flattens out the depreciation floor. It typically arrives somewhere between 24 and 36 months of age for most mainstream vehicles. Below that floor, the value loss slows dramatically. Above it, in the brand new zone where Ethan bought, the losses are steep, fast, and unavoidable regardless of how carefully you drive. Buying at or near the depreciation floor is one of the quietest wealth preservation moves available to any consumer. You're acquiring a proven asset, one that's already survived its most volatile period, at a price that reflects what it actually is rather than what it aspires to be. But let's say you want new. Let's say there's a specific configuration, a factory warranty package, or a manufacturer incentive that makes new the right call for your situation. That's legitimate. The strategy doesn't change. What changes is how you show up. Here is the system. 6 steps, no jargon. Step 1. Before you set foot in any dealership, run the opportunity cost calculation. Take the full cash amount you were planning to spend. Model what that capital returns at 7 to 8% annually over 5 years. That number is your true cost of paying cash. If it doesn't shock you, run it again. Step 2. Walk in as a financing buyer. Do not declare your payment method. Do not volunteer that you have cash sitting in an account. Your payment method is negotiating leverage, and the second you reveal it, you lose a layer of that leverage. Let the conversation be about the purchase price. That is the only number that matters in round 1. Step 3. Lock the purchase price completely before any conversation about financing terms, add-ons, or payment structure. Get confirmation in writing, even a handwritten number on a worksheet, before the conversation moves anywhere else. Dealerships are built on shifting attention. Keep yours fixed on one number until it's settled. Step 4. Once the price is locked, ask exactly 2 questions before signing anything. First, is there a loan origination fee on this financing arrangement? Second, is there a prepayment penalty? If there is a prepayment penalty, negotiate its removal or walk away. A loan you cannot exit early on your own terms is a lease with extra steps. Step 5. If the loan is clean, no origination fee, no prepayment penalty, take it. Finance the vehicle. Then deploy the capital you kept using the split structure. Minimum 60% into a long-term growth vehicle, maximum 40% into a liquid buffer sized to cover at least 12 months of your car payment. You are not speculating. You are parking capital in proven instruments while letting the arbitrage between your loan rate and your investment return do the quiet work. Step 6. After 60 days of servicing the loan, enough time for the account to season and any soft early payoff clauses to expire, revisit the math. If your invested capital is outperforming your interest rate, keep the loan running. Let it work. If your personal circumstances change, you have the capital on hand to pay it off immediately. The control never left you. You just moved it from the dealership's favor into yours. That is the complete framework. It is not complicated. It does not require a financial advisor, a brokerage account minimum above what you already have, or any exotic product. It requires only a shift in the fundamental question you ask before any large cash transaction, from "Can I afford this?" to "What does spending this actually cost me?" Here's where Ethan and Kira end up 5 years from that dealership visit. Ethan's SUV is worth $24,000. He's maintained it well, no issues. But his savings account is rebuilt only partially. He's been contributing when he can, but rebuilding $43,500 from scratch while managing normal living costs takes years. When a genuine wealth-building opportunity shows up in month 38, a friend's business that needs a $15,000 investment at a solid return, a real estate deal requiring a down payment, an unexpected career pivot that needs runway, Ethan can't move. His capital is locked inside a depreciating vehicle. He watches the opportunity from the driveway. Kira's SUV is also worth $24,000. Same depreciation, same mileage. But Kira has a portfolio sitting at $32,300, a liquidity buffer that generated $3,200 in interest, a net worth $8,600 higher than Ethan's without a single additional dollar of income. And when the same opportunity appears in month 38, Kira moves. She doesn't scramble, she doesn't borrow, she executes because she kept her capital liquid while Ethan converted his into metal. Same car, same 5 years. Completely different financial position. This is the gap nobody talks about at the dealership. Nobody on that sales floor is going to pull you aside and say, before you hand over your life savings, have you considered what that capital could do if you kept it deployed? That conversation has never happened in the history of automobile retail, and it never will. It is not in their interest for you to have it. It is entirely in yours. The idea that cash is always king is a rule built for a different era, one where borrowing was expensive, investing was inaccessible, and the spread between loan rates and market returns was thin. None of those conditions define the world you are making financial decisions in right now. The wealthy understand this. They use financing as a tool to preserve liquid capital, not as a last resort for people who can't afford things outright. Ethan wasn't careless. He wasn't impulsive. He followed every rule he was taught. He just wasn't taught the right rules. And the entire infrastructure of brand new car sales, the showroom, the sticker, the handshake, the feeling of ownership, is engineered to make sure he never questions them. You've questioned them now. Drive the car you want, negotiate the price down to its floor, finance it on clean terms, keep your capital working, and 5 years from now, you'll have both the car and a financial position that actually reflects the discipline you thought you were showing when you handed over the cash. That's the move. And now, it's yours. If this video opened your eyes to something you weren't taught, do one thing for me. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this content and it keeps me building more of it. On this channel, we break down exactly how money moves, who benefits from your financial blind spots, and what to do instead. You don't want to miss what's coming next.